Alright, YouTube, so we are back, of course, talking about some Final Fantasy VII Remake, and today we were going to talk about Aerith and the future and her possible fate and things like that, but that video is going to take a little bit longer to put together. I'm kind of strapped for time today, so that might be the next video we do, but what we're going to talk about today is also still important. So with the last video, we talked about Noctra on Reset Era, talking about possible PS5 information for Remake coming out sometime within February. And while theoretically they could reveal information for Remake at any point throughout February, there just happened to be this Orchestra World Tour, or more specifically Final Fantasy VII Remake Orchestra World Tour, happening in February, which seemed to make the most sense for a place that they could reveal something. They have a history of doing this. They did this in 2019 with the Symphonic Reunion concert they did for Remake, and they dropped a trailer there, which is the trailer you're seeing in the background right now. And something I actually forgot to mention last time we talked about this is they did the same thing for Kingdom Hearts back in like 2018. There was like a Kingdom Hearts World Tour concert thing as well, and Kingdom Hearts 3 got a trailer there as well. So Square Enix has like a legit history of doing this, having some sort of concert event for a game or a game series, and then dropping, brand new trailers at those events. So it seemed like the most likely place for them to possibly reveal something, if they're going to reveal something in February for Remake on PS5 or whatever these trademarks are, whatever is going on, right? Like that seems like a likely place for them to talk about stuff or show something. Just so happens that now that Orchestra World Tour concert has been canceled because of COVID. Because, of course, that shit's ruining everything. Which is understandable, of course. I'm not, pissed off that, they're having a lockdown in Japan because of COVID. That's an understandable situation. But what does this mean for the possible release of information? Again, assuming we were going to get information at all in February, how and where would they do it at now? So sort of the most obvious answer out of the way is they could just push it to a different event or time, right? Like, they're going to show it the Orchestra World Tour. It's not happening now. They could just be like, we'll do it in later in February, different time in February, maybe in March or April. They could wait till the 1-year anniversary thing. There's a lot of options here, obviously. And assuming they want to do some sort of reveal at that Orchestra World Tour, now that that's not happening, they're not constrained or restricted to wait until February 13th or whatever the date was they're going to do the concert. They can kind of do it any time now. So presuming they wanted to drop a trailer for the remake for PS5, they could do it at any point from here until, I guess the 1-year anniversary. Tomorrow they could drop the trailer if they wanted to now. They're not kind of having to wait until February till that concert. And I do personally like surprise reveals, and I don't think you always need to have some sort of big gaming convention to reveal things out. It'd be kind of interesting just to get that tweet, right? The notification, or the notification from the Final Fantasy 7 or Final Fantasy YouTube channel, them uploading a trailer just randomly without really any hype or letting anybody know. That's effective marketing as well, because word of mouth, people will just be posting it all over social media right away. Now, as for an actual event, time, date, when we might be able to hear some information about something, PS5 version, whatever it might be, there happens to be a game developer conference happening at the end of January that Audrey also tweeted out about. And at this event, we're going to have Final Fantasy VII Remake, and we're going to have Naoki Yamaguchi and Yoshinori Kitase. Let's read her translation really quickly. And it says, Final Fantasy VII Remake Unwrapped joined Final Fantasy VII Remake producer Kitase and co-director Hamaguchi as they discussed the reason why they decided to create FF7R, important points they considered during the process, and development secrets. They will also discuss problems they encountered for the project, ways they overcame it, and the knowledge they gained from it. So I'll be honest, the explanation seems relatively generic, and some of the stuff we've already heard before, why they decided to make the Final Fantasy VII Remake finally, they've been wanting to do it for a long time, I think since the PlayStation 2 era, with the better technology than the PlayStation 1. That's why we got the PS3 tech demo that had they redid the intro to FF7 and stuff like that. They've been wanting to do it for a very long time. We've kind of already had that answered. But depending on what they talk about, we might do a video about it, but I'm not going to cover it if there's nothing interesting to discuss, or if it's just a bunch of information we've already heard and talked about before. Now, I do believe this event's going to be live streamed. I'm not 100% on that, but it's a gaming event thing they do every single year. But obviously this year they can't get a bunch of people together, so probably going to be doing the Skype calls or the Zoom calls or whatever. Which is part of why I think we could see something at this event, whether it's them talking about stuff or showing stuff in regards to Remake. Anyways, what it is, that's pretty much the video. So something I want to pass off to you guys in the comment section is, what are some upcoming gaming conventions, events, or something, even if we're not going to be able to have them like normal, they could be online as well. Going forward into 2021, where are some events that we could potentially see stuff at? Because that's something I don't really know anything about. I barely know of the gaming conventions that we do have, over here. I know, a Tokyo Game Show and some others here and there in Japan, but there's not, this one right here, the one we're talking about right here, CEDEC. Never even heard of this before. Either way, my dudes, that is the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you guys already want to update more Final Fantasy VII Remake content. Turn on my notifications. Follow me on Twitter at dashingdavidYT. And my Discord. Links to my social networks are in the description. Into the outro. Later, guys.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Logain or like Cobain.